Hey YouTube, good morning. Well, here we are. We on Christmas Eve, 24 December, and we finally got the next version of FSDBeta 10.8. I've posted a few things on Twitter this morning, but I'll just show you here. We are on FSDBeta 10.8, and it is labeled 2021.44.25.6. The release notes are extensive. So I don't know if it's worth going in detail to all of them. I will scroll through them quickly. I'll just warn everybody now, this will probably be a video of about a half an hour. I'm going to do my Memorial Park drive and then try to compile everything together. But there is a lot here, a whole lot here. So here is FSDBeta 10.8. Talking about suspension again. I still have 2 out of 3 strikes, and I'll show you those strikes in a second. These release notes are the same that 10.7 had, I think, that we saw on Twitter, but they're updated for 10.8 and full self-driving beta. The visualization improvements, we have a full expanded view. We're going to take a look at that today, hopefully. Cabin camera, still monitoring. Light show for the Model Y. I'll maybe do a separate video on that today, and the Model 3 also. Customizable app launcher. You can see the app launcher down here at the bottom is a little bit different, and you can move and control icons. Simplified controls up here in the upper left, I believe. Let you take a look at that. Blind spot camera. I'm very excited to see how that works today. I've already got that turned on. Editing waypoints. It looks like this editing waypoint feature isn't quite a press a dot on the map. I haven't played with it much yet. Maybe I can get that to work, but it looks like a kind of a search destination. I'm not sure how to use it during FSDBeta testing yet. TikTok, for those of you that like that. Some games. Sudoku. Subwoofer improvements. Cold weather improvements. Automatic seat heaters. I'm excited about this. Managing the temperature control automatically. Managing dash cam clips, control safety dash cam, delete dash cam, complete dark mode, haven't played with that yet, and then hide map details to simplify your navigation app and hide map details by tapping the pin button. Hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of all that today. The controls menu, it is completely different with the look in the UI. I will quickly scroll through for those of you that didn't see my video this morning. I drive in the chill mode. It does not affect the performance available to FSDBeta when engaged. I like to continue to reiterate that. That's just what I'm driving. That's the acceleration control. Charging, screen looks a little bit different. Autopilot, here I want to highlight again, I am still at 2 out of 3 strikes due to some early FSDBeta, I'm going to call them invalid eye monitoring. I had a hat on one time. The sun was low, and I think I got a strike then. In any case, and one of these was actually not underneath my profile while someone else was driving. Quite a bit of autopilot. I've got most everything turned on here. Here's the lock screen, the light screen, display. Looks like we have appearance light, dark, auto. I've got it in light right now because I was doing some video recording earlier while it was still dark. Trips, new screen here, navigation, safety, service. Looks like we've got some buttons here now. Software versions, release notes button is still there, and then the upgrades button. Okay, this menu down here is a little bit different. I'll just quickly highlight this. I haven't done everything with it, but you can drag and drop icons on here. Whatever you prefer that is available. Tap the camera screen there. And this is like a recents section here. Temperatures and controls on the bottom. All right, in order to not keep this too long, let's go to Memorial Park. It looks like the screen is different too. This keyboard, the font is a little bit different. We're going to do Memorial Park. Looks like there was another point in there. And here's this add waypoint. Like if I go to add, it wants to go to search a destination again. I'm not sure yet how to drop a pin. So let's see if we can, yeah, well, can I? I don't know if I can add a point. Let's see. No. Okay. I am just going to go to Memorial Park so I don't make this too low. Well, it looks like it was trying to do something. In any case, I'm going to let you guys in the comments talk to me a little bit more about this. Oh, no route found for this location. That's interesting. So if I'm trying to navigate to Memorial Park from where I am, give me a route. Okay, we've got a route there. I'm going to disengage and go our alternate route like I normally do. And if you notice, these icons down here at the screen are a little bit different here. And I think I can swipe it completely to the right. Looks like there's only one setting there. If I tap the top, that expands it. Yep, and the directions come down to the left. So that's the new visualization there. All right, I am going to go ahead and engage FSD. And here you see up in the upper left-hand corner is where my new gray wheel is when it's not engaged. So I think that's where we're looking for the moment to know that FSD is engaged. All right, and there's my left blinker on, and I'm getting my blind spot cam already. That's great. I love that. I'm probably going to be looking at that all morning. All right, and I went to full expanded view with my finger. Now I've got a right blinker on, and it's looking at my right, even though I really don't need a blind spot on this one. It's creeping out. Okay, it needs to stop. Okay, it went pretty far out there, but it stopped just in time. And here we go. Very nice. I'm not really sure yet on that creep how to evaluate that one. It stopped, it went fine. It was a right turn from a stop sign onto this highway. I have to say, just out of the get-go, this full screen visualization is a little overwhelming. That's just the way I feel right now. I have to keep an eye on my eyes, not looking down at the screen too much. You can obviously see in the upper left the driving controls are much more compact. The fonts are definitely a little bit different. The traffic aware cruise control circle is different. You've got the speed with a max in blue right underneath it. So that's kind of how it used to be displayed on where the speed setting is. I do have a slight override in mind just to kind of keep up with the flow of traffic. You can see I'm in the right-hand lane here, and I'm still being passed a little bit on the left. I'm going to just do a couple lane changes to check out these cameras here. I'm going to do a left blinker, and then a right blinker. Oh. You can tell I was didn't hit the blinker at the moment. So directions are down here. So while we're at this light, I'm going to mess with the screen a little bit. If I tap here on the directions, it does not come up. You got to drag it left, it looks like, and then drag it back to the right. I don't know if you noticed just then, we had a spurious blinker input that was unnecessary. And boy, I tell you what, having the blind spot camera turned on is a surefire way to know that the blinkers are going crazy. That will be a good indicator. Okay, I'm going to be disengaging right here and then taking a right-hand turn. At the light and let it reroute. Interesting, I'm going to have to swipe back to the right to verify the reroute. Swipe to the left, excuse me. I'm driving and talking at the same time. Once the reroute is complete, I'll re-engage. I'm not so sure what my comfort is going to be on not seeing the route. Seeing the route in the reroutes is a little bit of where my thought process is on what the car is planning on doing. This blue line down the center of the screen, while it does give me some information on the near future, I don't exactly know what it's thinking about a little further down the road. The blue line is obviously the new version of our predicted path vector. It's now blue with some, it looks like probability kind of fading. I noticed it just a second ago, it went to a light blue. So now the length of my vector and its accuracy is now being represented in blue. That's completely new and going to take a little bit of getting used to. This UI in full screen mode is kind of crazy. A little bit of a slowdown there. Yeah, the yellow light here, it needs to stop. Okay, I took over. I think it saw the green light ahead and was going. So that's my first disengagement. I'm going to re-engage right here. And let's see if it'll stay here. I'm going to try this split screen view mode for a second, because I need to kind of watch its routing for the moment. Okay, it's got another yellow light, but this yellow light doesn't have a green light beyond it, so I'm just going to assume that it sees it. There it goes. Okay, it's slowing. So notice the blue is now light blue, whereas before that blue was gray. That light blue would have been gray. So it was gray and kind of a teal before, aqua. Now it's light and dark blue. Going around these cones here, a little bit of road construction, that was fine. Speed limit, speed signs are looking like they're good there. There is a lot of information going on here on this screen that I'm adapting to while I'm driving. I haven't driven this yet. This is you getting a true first impression. I sat in the car before the sun came up a little bit and did some screen captures for Twitter with release notes and the control screens, but this is definitely my first drive, and taking in this the new trajectory vector is messing with my head a little bit. And I say that only because I think it's showing me the exact same information, just in blue and light blue. But it's not quite, it's making me feel a little bit more like navigating an autopilot on the highway with a solid blue line that never changes. All right, here's a flashing yellow. I don't know if you can see there on the screen, it's still got a little bit of red in there. It did a little bit of a braking, but not too much. It handled it correctly, but the screen display is still showing some reds. Here's another flashing yellow. And it didn't slow down a bit for that one. Okay, I'm gonna swipe back to the left. Oh, actually, there's bird's eye view. I'm just gonna quickly do that for you while I'm approaching this light. And then I was intending on swiping right so I can see what it was gonna do here. It is turning to the right. So it's still in this left side lane here a little bit, kind of crossing this gap. Went to light blue, solid blue, and my head's looking outside, not inside, and proceeding. So it did that turn just fine. There was no traffic to interact with. It was just the behavior of the right on red. This is the four-way stop sign. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to expanded view, and I've got the sun right in my eyes. So, okay, I've got a car from the right that is a very large truck, and it just went ahead because it was its turn, but that car was still slowing down. It did still use the blue representation of a car of interest or a truck of interest. So in the full screen view, it's obvious that it's kind of stretching the screen a little bit, but at least you can sort of see its true distance of uncertainty and how far out it can't see things. I'm not sure if we're picking up any new visualizations. I'm still seeing trash cans. We do have a pedestrian on the other side of the road that's jogging on the street, and it's representing there as another walker. Kind of just using a cadence there. A little bit of a shadow figure that showed up there too. I don't think by tapping anything on this screen, like with the directions, it'll pop it up. Just by touching it is the bird's eye view. Let's swipe back from the left. So there isn't a way that I've figured out yet to go to that 3/4 screen view we had before. If I tap on the top, it brings the directions down. If I tap on the top again, it brings the directions up. The car entering traffic here, looks like it's doing just fine there. So far, I have not felt any crazy braking to this point, meaning like unexpected phantom sort of braking events. The driving feels pretty smooth so far. I haven't had any nags yet for my eyes. I've been trying to keep them looking forward, but I am occasionally looking down at the screen. A couple potholes there that I wish one day we could mark or identify. Couple pedestrians up here on the sidewalk. It's not really rendering the buildings at all. You can just sort of see pedestrians put out there in the kind of in the infinity. See where it stops in this stop line. All right, intersection labeling has changed a lot now. None of the lines that used to be in there and jittering are here anymore. That's interesting. So all the crosswalks and things like that are being represented with a probability shade now. I have to say that's much better. That uncertainty being projected as jiggling lines was rather distracting. This feels like a better way of handling it. And here we are, see with the map up, we're at our destination point. I'm gonna go ahead and disengage with the upstalk, which is what I just did. And when I did that, you can see some other things that changed on the screen. The max went away on the speed. The steering wheel turned gray. The steering wheel still comes and goes when FSD is available. It's just a much smaller screen icon, so your eyes where they need to look it's in a different spot. So first leg on FSD 10.8 Christmas release. I have to say, wow, there is a lot of changes in here. I didn't get it on video because it didn't happen for me on this drive, but the first time after installing FSD 10.8, I got a welcome to software version 11 welcome screen with some navigation through what had changed. I'm guessing that was like a first run sort of tutorial for the V11 UI. Even though we're on FSD version 10.8, it'll be interesting to see. I didn't see version 11 anywhere on this screen or in any of the settings, but there was a version 11 welcome screen that took me through a few of the configurations and what changed in the UI. So I think that there is a little bit of a user interface preparedness kind of I guess video you'd call it, or a little bit of a walkthrough that they had set up. Okay, let me put my FSD return in here. Favorites right there. Calculating the route. Now, I don't think I can change route, and I'm experimenting on the fly here. Can I add a long press? Ooh, add to the route. It did. Okay, so that is how you change waypoints. No, it did. Oh, yes, it did. But it created a stop. Let's see where it goes. So you can long press on the screen. It brings up an add icon, and with the add icon, you can throw it in your route. I don't know if it's going to want us to stop there and we continue, but at least we have a dot in here. Okay, here's our 3 kind of direction turn. With this UI, you can really see the geometry of the intersection. It's nice and clear here. I would say it handled that very, very well. Not a lot of traffic I had to wait for. It had a nice gap and it took it. Low traffic mornings, I hate to give it too much credit because you really don't get to see the interactions. But I think that is something we can get more video on as we go through. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't gotten many blue screens. I'm just going to let go of the wheel for a second. I counted like 23 seconds there before I got that little prompt. That feels like it was a lot longer than it used to be. So there may be a little bit of change here on the length of time between nags. And I wonder if it's vision related because it's watching my eyes on the road. So I'm going to keep my hand near the wheel, but not quite on it with tension like I normally do, and just kind of see how this goes. I normally put my waypoint and take a left here. That was a mistake when I did it. I'm just going to keep it the way I have it here. I kind of wish there was a 3/4 option here instead of, okay, it's wanting a little bit of a nag there, and I did get a little bit of a blue up top. So we've seen that UI change just a little bit. I miss my 3/4 view. I don't know, I guess 3/4 is better than this view for me, but or if I could drag it to right there and it would stay, that's kind of what I want. But this is an enormous improvement in my mind, having the full screen available. Still showing steady brake lights on cars ahead with blinkers on, so I don't think there's any blinker identification in this build. Haven't noticed any yet. I'm going to come back to the small screen view so we can kind of observe what happens at this pin dropped waypoint I added. A little bit of braking there. I'm not sure what it saw. Tapped it. Do have a pedestrian over here on the right that it slowed down for, but then proceeded. So it needed to do one or the other, and it did a little bit of both. So I guess it made the determination that it was better to go for it. Okay, I've got a blinker here. Side view cam's on. We're at this waypoint. I'm going to let it, okay. And now it's proceeding straight here. It looks like I'm at an intersection that has confused it. Interesting. Oh, wait, actually those two lines don't connect. I'm just going to kind of see where it goes. It's creeping. It's got quite a lot of clearance here. Okay, let's see what it does here. So now it's off route. It didn't take a left there to try to get towards, I don't know where it's going. Whoa, okay. It dove to the right there. All right, so that was a scenario where my hand had to be on the wheel. That was uncomfortable. That was an aggressive maneuver. And it was probably part of this navigation reroute, so I'm giving thumbs down on that one. If my hand had not been on the wheel with the speed that it jerked, we would have gone a little bit in a bad way right there. All right, at the stop sign, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the route here and have it do the FSDBeta return. I might try to put a that's the route I want to go, so I'm going to let it do that. Actually, I'm just going to take a left here. Okay, so that's what happens when you have something unexpected happen and you're testing FSDBeta. It rattles you a little bit. We were working on a waypoint. It was going slow speed. It was trying to find a reroute. It just did something unexpected in the process of trying to find its route. All right, so right on red scenario here, creeping forward. It's got to keep going. I can't quite see. Okay, it's clear. It can go there. It's a red light here. It needs to stop. Okay. It didn't see that red light. All right. There's the green light chime while FSD is disengaged. All right, so my first leg was a little bit exciting. My second leg right now, I'm just saying it's a little scary. A couple red lights today so far and a rather aggressive disengagement while a reroute was happening. Kind of an aggressive slowdown for no pedestrians there. There was a crosswalk. Not exactly sure why it was slowing down there. Coming up on this S curve. Before, it has used blinkers sometimes on this curve. Doesn't look like it's using blinkers at the moment. All right, it slowed down. I had to tap the accelerator on that one. It slowed down for that car on the curve because it thought and I've got a car behind me, so I can't let these braking actions get too out of hand here. It's almost like it thought it was an oncoming car, even though he was in his appropriate lane. That happened on the previous build here at this curve, actually. As I was coming around, it was an oncoming car that was in his appropriate lane, almost like that. Okay, you saw it again. A little bit less of a braking action there, but you might have even heard the brake hit, and you saw the vector jiggling a little bit. All right, we've got an intersection here that's red. You see my blinker is on, but I need to be going straight, and it figured that out. Okay, so here we're at a light blue again, and so light blue transitioning to dark blue is our new indication of intent on the car is going to proceed. I know when looking at that, there you go, you just saw another blinker flicker, and the side view camera is its tattletale. When you're doing unprotected left turns or any sort of turns at intersections, the intent and the change in color of the vector is how I use to know when the car is planning on going or not, or when it thinks it can go. All right, we've got a green here. It needs to get over to the right quickly. Right now, it needs to go. And there's room. It's got to cross a white line to do it. It did cross the white line. Okay, we have two pedestrians crossing here. It needs to wait for. It's green, and as soon as it's clear, so it did a good job on these pedestrians. That was nice. It needs to proceed with a little bit more speed there, but that was fine. I don't have any problem with that. Okay. Stretching the screen to widescreen view. At the end of this block is our first unprotected left that I've done on this route before. Nice trajectory around that parked truck. When this vector is nice and smooth, I'm comfortable. It's when it starts jittering is when I start to lose my patience or comfort level a little bit. All right, it looks like it's going to have to go around one car before the intersection, which is going to be two cars here, and then line itself up for the unprotected left. At this intersection, there is a stoplight about a block away, and it needs to creep forward for visibility. So it needs to stop here. Okay, there are cars coming, so it cannot proceed. I thought I would mention, I do have a little bit of information from some of the test drivers that the blue cars change meaning based on the conditions, but the best word for what the blue cars represent is a vehicle of interest. Okay, it needs to wait here. It's creeping out further, and it realized that I can see these cars well before they're showing up on the screen. It needs to wait. There's a lot of cars coming. There they are, starting to show up. There are no gaps. There's a tiny gap that I wouldn't go for, and it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to get out of it. Put myself in the lane there, and there was no way for me to back up or proceed. So it didn't do a good job there. I'm gonna go ahead and do a U-turn here manually, and I will just show you that it won't do a U-turn. It's got one mapped here, but I'll engage, and it should say unable to complete the maneuver. And it's trying to do a turn here, not a U-turn. I'll let it go for it just to show you that it can't do it. But what's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? Very slow crossing traffic. Okay, so it had a U-turn mapped. Now it's gonna do another reroute here. So instead of a U-turn, the planner mapped a U-turn, but the car did a series of left turns, which is perfectly appropriate without being able to do a U-turn maneuver. Although it didn't plan this set of turns before it did it. It kind of went off of the map and then found its way. All right, got a slowing trailer here. This is a good, interesting use case. Got the blinker on, and now it's proceeding by once he's cleared. That was good. Nice, appropriate speed. Two-way stop sign here, so it's just got to clear the left and the right, and it is wide open for it to go. See how long it takes it to realize it. Needs to just go. There we go. A lot slower than me, but that it crept up there and made sure. Railroad crossing here. This is an interesting intersection. It does not recognize, okay, it's treating this line as the stop line here. I'm well behind the red light up there. It is showing the red light. But it can't creep from here, so there's no car behind me. Okay, now it's starting to think about creeping. Okay, whoa, it's jumping kind of back and forth here. I'm at a railroad intersection. Okay. All right, so now, okay, there's where it needs to stop. That's the stop line for the red light, and it needs to look. So it was just going for it. Red is definitely showing there. And I'm manually doing this right turn, and I'll re-engage. Okay, so that railroad intersection with the very deep stop line distance it had confused it. Once it decided to cross the railroad tracks, it just went for it. I think it was treating the stop line before the railroad tracks as if it was the stop line for the intersection, and once it didn't see anything coming, it just was going for it as if it had gone all the way up to the stop line for the intersection, which was incorrect. I'm going to snapshot that one, just even though I'm talking about a little bit late. That is another item I have not mentioned yet. The location of the snapshot icon is a full solid camera now. It's not over here to the right. It's just to the right of the temperature. Admittedly, I have not used it much today while I've been talking, but I will get plenty of time doing that. Okay, while we're at this intersection, I give you a little bit of top-down view. We do have some jittering lines up here in this screen. That's interesting. So it looks like the crosswalks are being rendered with a probability shade, and the turn lines are still being rendered as kind of jittery lines, which is fine. Just noticing the difference there. Why didn't my blinker? Okay, so the side view cam, ooh, got an emergency vehicle up here. I don't think it's going, okay, it's slowing down, but I think it's slowing down for that light. I'm not sure, I didn't see anything. Nothing special on any of those icons for that emergency vehicle. So we're still not there. I don't know, it didn't have any sort of slowdown warning for emergency vehicles, so I think it was just that intersection. All right, side view camera. Changing lanes to follow route. I will just side swipe to show where we are. Just a little bit to go. One unprotected left. So I was not impressed with the unprotected left that it did so far. It put itself in harm's way by getting all the way out in the first lane and just stopping. I had to bail out to the right. So that was not an expected behavior. Sometimes at the end of these videos, I throw on a couple unprotected lefts just to bang out a little bit more, but I think this video has been long enough so far, so I will do a dedicated video there. It is clear if it proceeds. Nice rolling, unprotected forward facing there. That was nice. I'm just going to see what happens when it gets to its destination here. And if it just stops, autopilot ending, nobody's around me, so I'm just going to, and then it stopped. Okay, it still left it in drive, but it stopped here. Disengaging. Okay, there we are, version 10.8. Holy smokes, is there a lot of new information in here. I can only imagine everyone watching this video is going to see even more information than I saw. I got one unprotected left on there. It failed miserably. Ran a couple red lights today. So those of you that also have FSDBeta, please be careful. That one waypoint interaction I had, it did an aggressive hard right turn while my hand was thankfully on the wheel at the moment. Keep your hands on the wheel in case anything like that might happen to you. That's all I've got. Leave comments below. Let me know what you think. It's a beautiful day here in Northeast Florida. I might get the drone out today and do some unprotected lefts if the video rendering time doesn't eat up my day. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Happy holidays. And for those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Have a great day.